Hi, I'm Isobel Devi, and this is Orgasm Central TV.
So, how did you get started in this industry?
Let's see. It's a little bit like blurry for me. I didn't have like I sort of did a lot of adulty things right from the start because I was always a little bit of a deviant. But let's see. I started out as a clerk at an adult store. I guess that would be like my intro to the adult industry. I was just slinging porn and dildos for a long time. And I really loved that job so much. I had so many cool experiences with it. I was pretty young when I got it. I think it was like 19 or something like that. I can't even remember now. But basically, along with all the regular people that come into the store to like buy their sexy outfits and whatever else they need, I had a lot of like kinky freaks come in, and it was just inevitable. Like, dominatrixes would come in with like their slave and like need help dressing them up and stuff like that. And I was always down. I was always like, what are we doing today? Okay, like tell me more about this. Like he does what? Oh my gosh, you know? So it sort of kind of happened from there. And then I worked at another kinkier adult store for a while. And from through there, I just met a lot of people in the industry who were like, you'd be good at this. You want to try? And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll try it. I'll try anything twice. So that's kind of how I got into it. It wasn't very like I didn't have a decision where I was like, I think I want to do this. It was more like I just kept doing things where people were like, you're not that already. And I was like, yeah, I guess you're right. I guess I should try it out. So that's kind of how I got into it. I was sort of just like always into it, I guess.
Do you know the name of that store?
Yeah, the store that I used to work at, it was called Sexy Wonders. I don't think it's still there anymore. I th It was so long ago. They ended up moving the location to a different part. It was in South Florida. And then I don't think it lasted. It got sold. The business actually got sold with me in it for a while. The woman who owned it was like, I'm done with it. And she sold it to this dude who was retiring and wanted like a fun thing to do in his retirement. And then I ended up quitting and moving to a different location that I liked better because I wanted to do like freakier stuff. Like that was more of like a vanilla store. They had like your run-of-the-mill toys and your porn and like some sexy outfits for couples or strippers or what have you. And I went to work at like a kinky store afterwards because I wanted to do more kinky stuff. But yeah, Sexy Wonders was kind of my intro to it. I used to love working there. This really cool Israeli woman used to own it. I loved her. She was like my second mom. She was like the coolest lady, and she was an excellent salesperson. I learned so much about sales from her. It was cool. But yeah, she was just like this really cool, like sexually liberated woman. She owned the store, and I used to work for her. And she kind of had this thing where she was like, just don't call the cop. Don't get the cops called to my store and don't burn the store down. And I don't care what you do as long as you make sales. And so I had a lot of fun in that store. I'm not going to get into too much detail, but I had a lot of fun in that store.
Oh, don't no, don't call the cops. What,
Yeah,
what,
she was like, don't have the cops called. Like don't get the wrong attention on my shop and don't burn it down and
what
do
if there's
whatever and have fun.
a robbery?
Well, that's different. She meant like, don't do something where someone will call the cops on us, is what she meant.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, yeah. Not like don't ever call the cops on my store. Like obviously if there's a robbery, she had like a security system and all that, but it was more like, don't get me in trouble. Don't do anything like super illegal when I'll get in trouble and don't break anything and don't burn anything down. But she was cool. A lot of mistresses would come in with their slaves and like wanna like do low key, like respectful stuff. Nothing too wild where everyone would get in trouble, but like they'd come in with their subs and like shop around and do stuff in there. And I used to love that. I loved it. And she was totally cool with it. She was like, I don't care what you do, have fun, sell things.
That sounds like such a fun job. If I
It
was
was.
so,
It was.
what do you like most about your work, and what do you like the least?
The most liked thing for me is how
Hmm.
creative it is. I love being creative. And I also love that I can be a deviant, obviously, because I got in trouble in school a lot for being a deviant and doing things that I wasn't supposed to. I was always like hitting boys that upset me, and I can do this now, and it's what people want. It came out of me, and I find it very therapeutic to be able to tap into this part of myself that's unacceptable in other places. But in scene space, people seek me out for that because they like how mean I am and they like how like wicked I am and like all my crazy ideas that they have to like abide by. So it really is symbiotic relationship that I have with my job. Like there's definitely a part of me that kind of needed this, and I'm really lucky that I found the outlet that I got to explore my sexual deviancies and got to explore being mean to people in a consensual way where it's not rude or
Right.
a
Fucked
felony.
up or fucked
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. So I really, really love that there's a place in the world for the darker part of me, if you will. And I love that I get to be creative while I do it. It's um it's a space where people respect me for who I am and I respect them for who they are. And at the same time, I'm able to provide them with a space where they can be who they are because a lot of people have shame, they have confusion about their desires, wanting to be emasculated or wanting to be hurt, things like that. Society doesn't really look upon those things with a lot of kindness all the time. So it feels good to be able to provide people with a space where they can sort of let go and sort of indulge in those parts of themselves that other people might say like, what's wrong with you or whatever, which by the way, nothing's wrong with you. Like it's totally normal. People are just kind of hiding it most of the time that they're kinky or freaky.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of men who pride themselves on being alpha men, so to speak, might be
Mhm.
hiding
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. And even those guys sometimes need to just let go and relax. Like there's a certain amount of balance that you need in your life, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to have that in the privacy of a scene with somebody or the privacy of your own home or bedroom or whatever. So for the second part of your question, what I don't like about my job is I don't like that it's so stigmatized. It's a double-edged sword. I actually spoke to somebody about that the other day. It's very stigmatized and it's not quite legal. I try really hard to not break the law a lot. But unfortunately, the law is very nebulous and very like gray area-ish a lot, and that makes staying safe and staying like, acceptable really hard. And I don't really like that. I don't have an answer to how to fix those things because it's a very complicated and very large problem, and it encompasses a lot of different people from a lot of different aspects of the sex work industry. And so everyone's going to have a different idea for how to resolve that issue. So it's really like big and deep and complex, but I don't like that it's so I don't like that it's stigmatized. I don't like that it puts people at risk. And I don't like that people can like lose respect from society if they were found out to be engaging into it. I don't like that part. I think that needs to go away.
Yeah, but I mean, people are always going to talk. People are always going to, that's just, people are just people. And people are going to be fucked up and they're fucked up because they have their own insecurities.
Yeah. A lot of times it's that they are afraid of who they see in the mirror, unfortunately.
Mm. But what was your favorite scene to shoot?
Ooh, to shoot. Um, let's see, there's so many good ones. I really love all of my tickling scenes. They're always so much fun. Um, it's hard to say a favorite because I've shot so many things that I'm like, let me dig for the like favorite one. But I'll tell you, like all of my tickling scenes I love because I love tickling people. I've got these long nails and like they're perfect. Excuse me. And then I have to say, I shot this deranged scene with Rubber Barbie one time, and I think of it often. I was actually thinking about it the other day. This is back when Mistress Michelle still had the Order of Indomitus in Central Florida. She has it in Northern Florida now, but she used to have this property in Central Florida. She used to have it out, and it was way out in the cut. It was like down four dirt roads in the middle of nowhere, like like way past suburbia. It was like a very rural area and it was creepy at night, right? So like right outside the property, like you'd go down this long driveway, like all the way out to this dirt road that connected very sparsely separated houses. Like you had lots of space between you and your neighbors. And we shot this like crazy abduction scene where her and I were pretending to be damsels in distress and like stopped a vehicle. Like one of the submissive men like drove a car down the dirt road and one of us jumped out and was like, help, help, we need help. And they like came out and we're like, what do you need help with? And we like grabbed them and put like a bag over their head, dragged them away and like did a bunch of like messed up things to them in the bushes. That was probably one of my favorite things to shoot. Rubber Barbie is really fun to work with.
Hmm. Rubber Barbie.
Yeah.
I've heard of latex Barbie. I don't know. Might be a different girl.
Similar but different. No, it's not the same girl.
Oh.
I'll send you her link later.
Oh, okay, thanks. So
Yeah.
what companies are you dying to shoot with? Because I know there are a bunch of femdom companies like Brat Princess, American Mean Girls, Club Dom. I know you shot with Club Dom. You shot with Club Dom, right?
I have shot with Club Dom. I love that I shot with them. Their scenes were really fun. It was actually at that same property, at the Club Dom property. I guess I should have just said it that way. But it was at the Club Dom property that we shot that video, but it wasn't for Club Dom. Who would I like to shoot with? Honestly, I'm more into shooting with like independent producers. Like I like doing trades with people. I still have yet to shoot with Raquel Roper, which is crazy because we're friends. So I'm dying to shoot with her still. And um, who else? I've already shot with Goddess Sydney. She's in Denver. I don't know. I don't have an answer for your question. I just like shooting for myself most of the time.
I mean, there are plenty of other beautiful women out like Azada Sin,
I would love to
Nicole.
shoot with her, but she's so far away.
I
I'd
mean,
have to go all the way to Romania to shoot with her, but I would love to shoot with her. You're right. Thanks for bringing that up. I would love to
yeah,
shoot.
you got a
Her
passport, right?
place is incredible.
Yeah, you got a passport, right?
I do.
Yeah.
Romania's far. Romania's so far, but yeah, I would love to shoot with her. She's amazing. She does some amazing work. It's hard for me to come up. You put me on the spot a little bit, but there's definitely some studios out there that I would love to work with.
Yeah.
Um, I would love to shoot with Kink, but to be honest with you, they shoot a little bit more X-rated than I do, so I never really knew whether like I was their cup of tea. They usually like a fair amount of nudity from their models, and I tend to not do much, if any, nudity. So
Oh, they
that's kind
do?
of what's prevented me from from shooting with some of the bigger studios, if I have to be honest.
Really? Because the stuff I've seen from Kink, like I thought, like the submissives were just mostly nude.
Yeah, a lot of times they like for the dom to like take their top off. They do a lot of either really tiny bottoms or totally nude face sitting. And I usually don't like, I don't expect people to accommodate me so much when that's their genre. So that's kind of why I haven't reached out. But it would be cool if I ever shot for them. That they're a very well-known studio and they make some top-notch content. So I wouldn't complain if they reached out personally.
Oh yeah. So now here's one of those long-winded questions.
Sure.
According to the 2022 Free Speech Coalition, 46% of adult workers have been restricted on services like PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App. 36% of adult performers have lost at least one bank account. 55% have been denied insurance because of their background, and 50% have been denied a loan because of sex work. What do you think of those statistics?
Um, I think it's funny how an industry so greedy would cut off its own nose to spite its face and not take our money. Because the banks are pretty greedy. And it's interesting that they don't want our money. Like they're somehow like morally better than us and like don't want our money. When in reality we make hundreds and thousands and millions and zillions of dollars. Like that's not even a real number, but we make so much money. And the fact that they're willing to just cut us off and be like, no, your money is too dirty is crazy to me. Stripe cut me off a while ago. I tried to use them covertly for a scheduling app, and they found my main website and they were like, you can't use our services anymore. So I haven't been super affected by them. That was just a payment middle management system that kind of cut me off. I've never lost a bank account, thankfully. Knock on wood. I've never lost a bank account. But it's, I mean, I don't like it, obviously. I have friends who have lost bank accounts and it's it it's first of all, it's not fair, obviously, and it just seems um, I don't know. It's kind of like unnecessarily cruel, like they're intentionally, especially knowing that a lot of the people who run these institutions probably look at porn. Like you can't convince me that they're not ever looking at porn and they're not ever using those services. So it's crazy that they're so against us. Yeah, I don't like it.
Well, I mean, because I haven't talked to anyone. I haven't talked to people at Wells Fargo or like banks or I was planning on doing it, but no one ever got back. But most of the time, these guys, I don't know if it's because of like uh moral superiority complex or I think it's because they think that your industry they confuse like child sex trafficking with actual um uh consensual work between adults.
That's
And
a scapegoat.
yeah,
That's a
well,
scapegoat. To lump those two together is so lazy and it's a scapegoat. We all know that not every person who does this job is forced into it. I wasn't forced into it. I chose it of my own free will. My teachers definitely sat me down and were like, "You're about to get into sex work. That's a very stigmatized field." And I said, "Okay, I understand the implications." And I am fine with working in this field because I like it. So for them to be like, oh, it's always going to be grooming or always going to be sex trafficking, like that's just not true. Anyone who says that anything is always a certain way is wrong. Um, it's just not true. And they always lean on the whole, oh, but think of the children. And I don't think that's fair because how did the children get here?
well,
You know what I mean? Like it's always like they're always trying to wash their hands with the whole like, oh, but like what about the victims? And it's like help the victims, but you know, don't destroy the whole industry over it. The industry is not what causes. Not to mention, a lot of times I feel like another argument that's often made is like, oh, it's enabling people who have like fucked up fantasies or something like that. And I just don't think that's true. I think if anything, it's giving people a safe outlet to explore those fantasies so they don't have to do it in the shadows in a weird, fucked up way that's potentially dangerous to other people. So that's just my personal opinion. I don't have all the data, but I don't think those claims are right. I think they're wrong, and I think they just don't want to work with us. It's the same thing with the whole, oh, well, you guys get more chargebacks. Well, then don't let people charge back. It's your system. Tweak the rules. Why are you letting customers charge back?
Well, yeah, I mean, this is what I have noticed that, because I've had my ups and downs in this industry too, because it is an outlet for people that want that certain activity. Um, but also, I'll always tell guys, be aware that, there are DOMs that do uh take advantage of subs and don't care about boundaries too. And like there are DOMs out there that do that. And
So
that's
this is
very
an
bad.
unregulated industry, and there's no barrier of entry for becoming a dom or anything else. There's no schooling, there's no certification. It's not a real business. So anyone can just go to Wix.com or Squarespace.com or whatever and throw up a website with their pictures and say, I'm a professional dom now and I offer these services. And there's nothing stopping them from doing that. Nothing, zero. There's no one out there to be like, wait a minute, who are you? And are you providing a good service? Like, there's no quality control, there's nothing. So that kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like, it's not a real business. So there's all these issues with it because, yeah, when there's no barrier of entry, anyone can come out and be like, I know how to do this. And then if you don't know better, you're going to come in and say, she's got a website. She looks professional. I don't know. I guess she's the one. And you're going to book her and you're going to be in every right to think that this is a person that could potentially be trusted. But actually, there's no safety measures for the clients. They have to do their own legwork for it. You're left to fend for yourself and do all of the Googling and look through their social media and make sure that it's not an account that was made yesterday and like make sure that it's not some person who's lying about their qualifications or has stolen photos from other professionals on their website, like all things that are happening, you know? So unfortunately, that's definitely a real thing.
So, how can people help support sex workers?
On the short term, obviously, tipping and all that, supporting, booking the services. But on like in the long game, if there's anyone out there listening who has any amount of power and you really truly care, like do lobby, like do vote for the right rules, do read all of the things, like ask people if you don't know what you're voting for. Because sometimes, I'm not a legal major. Like, I don't know what all these laws mean. Like, whenever your little booklet comes in to your mailbox and you have to vote for your local laws and things like that, like, I don't know what half that stuff means. So I have to like look it all up and it's hard work and it's kind of annoying. And most of us kind of like resign ourselves and say, fuck it, I'm not even going to vote. But it's important to like have your voice heard. Like, if you care about this industry, it's important to actually like vote for the legislations that are not gonna put us behind 100 years because we lose resources and new laws are made that put us more at risk than anything else. I think having people who are on our side in higher places, hopefully like in courts or whatever, where they make decisions about how like the legal side of the business is handled, that's what I believe ultimately is going to help us progress and move towards a better place. And don't just make laws without asking us. I feel like a lot of laws are made for professions where it's like, who made these up? Like, were they a sex worker? Like, did they ask a sex worker? Have they ever seen one? So, like, do ask. Like, there's going to be a lot of noise when you ask a question, but there's also going to be some important information there from people who are going to say, yeah, this law is going to hurt us and this one's going to help us. So do listen to us at least a little bit, please.
That's fair enough. Uh, what makes you stand out in this industry?
I, hmm. So from things that I can't change, and this is a little bit of a lonely answer, I have still yet to meet another Bulgarian creator or dominatrix. If you're out there, hit me up. I'm looking for my Bulgarian sister. So I feel like it kind of makes me stand out because I have yet to meet another Bulgarian dominatrix. Sometimes I like to play around and make videos in my native language. I've only ever sold a few of them, so I don't know what that means. But definitely like where I'm from kind of makes me stand out a little bit. I'm part Bulgarian, part Armenian, and I moved here in '98, so I'm like quite Bulgarian. But for things that I actually chose for myself, I do a lot of cosplay with my domination, and I don't see that very often. I certainly see it, but I don't see that very often. And I feel like that's one thing that kind of sets me aside from a lot of my peers. I like to play with costumes and take on roles of all these different characters and make them the dominatrix version of themselves. And I feel like that's kind of like the fun thing that I like to inject in my content and in my style that sets me apart a little bit.
And you moved to the States in '98?
Yep,
Oh, wow, I was a year old.
that's crazy.
Wow. But where do you see yourself in like 5 to 10 years?
Hopefully, you know what? Hopefully, I'll have my house paid off and hopefully, my cats will still be around. And I'm really hoping that I will be the owner of a really cool private BDSM club in Denver. That's kind of what my dream is. The dream is that I buy a building and I put a super cool club in it, like both for kinky stuff and for social stuff. It's kind of been my dream for a while. I've been chewing everyone's ear off about it for a while. Although real estate prices aren't helping me right now, but hey, in 5 to 10 years, who knows what'll happen, right?
Yeah, five. Yeah. So you like, what were you planning on doing? You just selling like dildos and collars and whips and chains and stuff like that?
From my place?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I think the years of brick and mortar are kind of gone unless you've solidified your name in the industry, like if you're a big store name. I'm thinking more like fancy events, like dance parties, super kinky adult parties that are invite only, that where crazy things happen. That kind of thing. I'm thinking more of like a players club type of place. You go to like have fun and dance and play and socialize.
Oh, Players Club. Oh, you could
Yeah,
you
yeah,
could
yeah.
charge people per month.
Yeah,
Huh.
there's a lot of different ways I could do it. I gotta get that commercial loan for a mortgage. Good luck for me, right?
Yeah, yeah. Good luck for you. I'm praying for you.
Thanks, because the buildings around here are like 1 million and up.
Oh, in Denver, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it's real estate's quite expensive here. I keep looking around, but there's one day maybe. I'm waiting for the right moment. It's all a waiting game. I've learned in life it's all a waiting game. You gotta gather your little nuts like a squirrel until the right time to jump is ready. And I'm hoping that within the next 5 or 10 years, if I'm patient and good, that I'll get the perfect opportunity and I'll be able to jump on it and make my dreams come true. But that's kind of where I see myself. I see myself like living a even more comfortable life and having an even cooler space to host events out of.
okay. Hmm.
Yeah.
So, what's your greatest accomplishment in this industry?
Let's see, greatest accomplishments. Um, this might sound kind of silly, but I think being part of some of the coolest events in the country, I often find myself like just being really grateful that I was able to make the connections that I made in my career. And I got to be like part of some really cool projects. Like I've been working with Mistress Michelle since, oh gosh, let's see. When did she start the Order of Indominus? She started it in 2015, but we started working like a few years before that on some other parties. But I've been with her for the Order of Indominus since the beginning, and that is an iconic, amazing event. And that's one of the things that really makes me happy in my life is like I got to be part of this like really, really cool event that like so many people like dream of and talk about. And I got to be in the thick of it the whole time. And we've done some really insane stuff there. So I would say that working for an event like the Order of Indomitus is probably one of my coolest life accomplishments. I think like, a small handful of people can say they did that. And those who did usually have some really cool memories from it. So I have a ton of them and I feel really lucky.
Yeah, I bet. Like Kanan busting ass. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff at that event. The ceremonies specifically, like, we have some like torchlit ceremonies that happen or that used to happen at the old property. At this one, we kind of changed it around a little bit, but the torchlit ceremonies, if you dig enough, you'll find pictures like BTS pictures of like how it happened, and it was just like so magical and so like otherworldly to like be there. And we used to have this big Jesus cross in the middle of the giant like 5 acre property yard, and we would put people on it and shackle them to it and give them their sacrificial flogging. And it was just like it's just always been such a wild ride.
Wow. No, that's no. Wow, wow. Um, I always blush when women like dominant women talk about their work. That's kind of... But wow,
Glad
thank.
I could,
What's that?
glad I can make you blush.